Alright, so we've all heard the conspiracy theories about 9/11. Inside jobs, missiles, mysterious planes, controlled demolitions. The internet has been running wild with this stuff for decades. But what about Flight 93, the plane that went down in Pennsylvania after passengers fought back? Believe it or not, that story's been twisted too. Some people claim it was shot down. Others say there were no terrorists at all. Let's start with what we know. Flight 93 took off from Newark, New Jersey, headed for San Francisco. About 45 minutes in, hijackers took control. Through phone calls, passengers learned what had already happened in New York and Washington, and they realized their plane was next. And this is where things get heroic. They didn't freeze, they fought back. Cockpit recordings captured the struggle, shouting, banging, the sound of the passengers charging the cockpit. Unable to maintain control, the hijackers crashed the plane into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. No one survived, but those passengers likely saved hundreds, maybe thousands on the ground. Alright, let's talk about one of the first big rumors, the white jet. Eyewitnesses near the crash site said they saw a small white jet flying low after Flight 93 went down. Conspiracy forums went nuts claiming it was an F-16 or a secret government plane that fired a missile. But the truth is straightforward. That white jet was a Dassault Falcon 20, a business jet owned by VF Corporation. You know, the clothing company behind Wrangler jeans. The Falcon was flying to the nearby Johnstown Cambria Airport, just 20 miles away. According to VF's aviation director, the FAA asked the pilots to descend and help locate the crash site. They circled, saw the smoke, reported it, and flew on. There was no missile, no military jet, and no cover-up, just a routine assist from a civilian pilot. Another persistent myth claimed that one of Flight 93's engines was found miles away from the main wreckage, supposedly proof of a mid-air explosion. The rumor started when a police officer mentioned an engine part being found a considerable distance from the crater. Conspiracy websites then jumped on that quote, alleging the damage matched what a heat-seeking missile would cause. But experts on the scene, including the National Park Service and aviation crash investigators, confirmed what really happened. A fan from one of the engines was discovered about 300 yards south of the main crash site, in the direction the jet was traveling. Crash expert Michael Hines explains, "When you have a plane traveling over 500 miles per hour, it's entirely possible for heavy components to tumble hundreds of yards." In short, the Roving Engine wasn't proof of a missile. It was the physics of a 500-mile-per-hour impact. Reports soon emerged that debris and papers were found near Indian Lake, about a mile and a half from the crash site. Some residents said they saw pieces of the plane floating on the water. Conspiracy theorists pointed to this as proof that the jet had exploded in mid-air, claiming debris couldn't have traveled that far. But the science says otherwise. Wallace Miller, the Somerset County coroner, confirmed that no human remains were found outside the crash zone. The remains were confined to a 70-acre area around the crater, not scattered miles away. As for paper and light metal fragments, those can easily be carried by the blast wave and wind. Former NTSB investigator Matthew McCormick explained that the explosion could have propelled lightweight debris over a mile away. And here's the kicker. Conspiracy sites claimed the wind direction made this impossible. But meteorological data shows the wind was blowing toward Indian Lake, not away from it. The debris wasn't proof of a shoot-down. It was simple physics, backed by eyewitnesses and weather records. Finally, one of the most dramatic and false claims that Flight 93 was shot down by the U.S. military. In 2004, retired Army Colonel Don de Grandpré told a radio host that he personally knew the pilot who fired the missiles, a North Dakota Air Guard officer named Rick Gibney. But the facts debunk this completely. Air National Guard records show that Lieutenant Colonel Gibney was hundreds of miles away that morning. He flew from Fargo, North Dakota to Bozeman, Montana to pick up a state emergency official, and later transported him to Albany, New York. He was nowhere near Pennsylvania. This supposed whistleblower story was nothing more than hearsay, recycled across conspiracy websites without evidence, verification, or logic. United Flight 93 wasn't shot down. It didn't explode in midair. It wasn't part of an elaborate government plot. It was the story of ordinary people who made an extraordinary decision to fight back and save countless lives on the ground. 2 decades later, the truth remains the same. Flight 93 was brought down not by missiles or mystery planes, but by courage. A memorial was constructed to honor those who perished in this unforgivable tragedy, now located on the crash site in Shanksville. Thanks for watching, and if you love diving into conspiracies that blur the line between myth and reality, consider hitting that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's strangest mysteries.